I've covered the tube tool a few times over the last year or so since it was released, and it has to be one of my favourite tools in Nomad Sculpt. It's so versatile and so useful for so many things. So I thought it was time just for new users just to get another look at what you can actually do with the tube tool. So one of my favourite tools, as everybody knows, is the tube tool, which you can get from the menu here. And to start with the tube tool, all you need to do is come over to this right hand side and either pick curve or path. I'm going to use path here, and I'm going to draw on the screen, draw out, and I've basically got 2 points, a green button there, which is how we make it, we validate it, and you can move those points around with your pencil like so. Now if I tap in the middle, that gives me another one, and I've got a bendy spline. It's just like splines in something like a vector program like Adobe Illustrator or Vectornator or any of those kind of programs, and it gives you this spline with points on it, and you can change the spline up here to B spline, which is just a different way of doing splines, which again you will know if you come from a vector background. If you've never done anything like that, then it doesn't really matter. So if you tap on them, they go as if they're right angled. So if you want to do angled tubes, you want to do really angular things, then just to tap on them and they go right angled like that. And as you're moving around like so, you can get to the point where you want to get rid of a point and just drag one to another, and it snaps away and it's gone back to the beginning like so. So let's just do one at the start, one at the end, and one in the middle, so we can go to the next phase, which is tap on the green button, and you've now got a new panel that opens at the top, which is quite a lot going on up there. So if we start at the top and we work from left to right, so if you hit the green button on the left, it's game over. That locks it and it's finished. It's validated, as they call it, and it's ready to be sculpted on. So you don't do that till the very end. If you hit edit, then you get a small button here, and edit again, it gives you this panel back. So again, at this stage, we're staying in this mode here where this panel is active. And then we're just going to work our way across bit by bit. So there's a mirror option, there's a snap option, there's a closed option, which is quite cool if you want to do something like that, which gives you kind of a shape that's sealed in completely. What you might want to do is cap off the end a little bit, which is pretty much already done. So you could undo that, and then it removes the end cap like so. So we'll leave it at default where they're both capped. You can put a hole in the middle, which means we can make a tube. So like so, and then you can change the settings on that to make it thinner or thicker. So basically that gives you access to making pipes and all kinds of detailed things with the hole through the middle. So we can get rid of that. And then the one that I want to really focus on, or the couple I want to focus on, is this radius, and it has 3 different options there. So you can do 1, 2, and 3. So if you start at the 1 where we are already, and you move these points around a little bit, and you can see now what we might want to do is change the radius by doing this. The entire radius up and down the model changes. So if you've got points too close together, you'll get this overlap, which we don't want. So keep moving them out. And if you do it too tight, if the model is too fat, like so, you're going to get an overlap there as well. So that's a crease. Now you might want that if you're doing an elbow or if you're doing something that requires that. But generally, where it doesn't overlap will probably suit you better. Let me just change colour so you can see it a little bit better there. That's about playing with the size and seeing where it works with you as you're designing with this tube tool. So we can snap those back together and they go back. It's still all very live. And you can go all the way back to just having the tube itself with the 1 in the middle like so. So on the radius then, if you tap the second one, you get this, and what that means is a start and the end. So you could make it go all the way thin and all the way large at this end. That gives you possibly horns and teeth and spikes and witches' hats and anything that needs all the way large to all the way to nothing basically. So again, that one is super useful depending on what you want. And the one that I use the most, the one that's probably the most powerful one, is going to be the next tap on radius, which means you can set the individual radii, is it, or radius? So individual radius at any given point. So this means you can start making things that have got a bit more definition further down. So this might be that you want to make hair. It might be that you want to make, you know, bangs for a, for a girl's ponytail, or there's all kinds of things here that you can use this for. And again, don't forget, if you tap the white button, you're going to get that, which is the right angle. Now the red that you can see is actually the inside of the model, because up here I've got my two-sided set to red. Back face color is red. So that might not be what you want. So you don't want anything popping through where it shows the back face. If I was to show you the wireframe on, you can see there that the wireframe is quite good for this particular instance, but that might be too much or too little for you. So if you come to the three breadcrumbs at the end and you just bring up the divisions, or you could tick this button here and gives you the X and the Y divisions, so you could go a lot more that way and a lot more that way, and it gives you a really detailed piece of geometry. Or the exact opposite, you could bring it all the way down, so you've got a very geometric piece like that. It's, you can bring it all the way down to just a cube if you wanted it to. So we'll take ours up a little bit on both of them, so we've got quads really wherever we can, like so. So that one is rather useful. I'll just go a little bit higher. There we go. And that one, and we'll turn the wireframe back off so you can see what I'm doing. So let's just go back down the radius by 1 like that, something like that. And we'll get rid of some of these points as I carry on showing you what else we can do with this. So there we go. We've got this kind of like tentacle affair at the moment. So the next one along is twist. And to see twist, it might be better to put the wireframe back on. And actually, after what I've just said, it might be better to actually bring this geometry back down to a bit of a lower resolution so you can see what's actually happening. So as you can see there, if I'm just on the first dot of twist, you can see it's just rolling the whole entire geometry all the way around. So that's not particularly useful for anything. Do the second one, and what it does is it just rolls one end. So as you can see there, it's twisting it from this end or this end, depending on what you want. So you can get a nice horn effect with that one. Turn the wireframe off, you can just see it starting to come into the into the geometry there. So if you keep lowering the geometry like so, you're going to get quite an extreme effect there, which can look really good, and it can give you a really nice organic look, especially when that's subdivided later on. It can give you a nice a really nice effect of for example, like a goat's horn or a demon's horn or something, whatever you're deciding you need for that. So, and the third one, I think you're going to be able to guess this already, so I'll just increase the resolution a little bit for this one. Well, the third one gives you the ability to do the twist at any given point. So if you wanted to just have it really twisted at one point and not twisted at all at another, then you can do that, and it gives you, the ability to have smooth and twisted along a coil. Now you could take your radius down to nothing, so that you basically got one size, bring it up, and then do a high level of twist on here. And what that would give you is a very nice pipe. So it'd give you like a nice ribbon along the pipe and things like that. So there's lots of things that you could play with there. So I'm going to increase the radius. I'm just going to turn off the twist completely, and I'm going to reduce the points back down. And then we've just got a basic pipe again, like that. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to show you the next one, which is the profile. And this is possibly one of the best parts of this. So profile allows you to change the profile of the shape of what's being made along the spline. So at the moment, that looks like a square. So if you come to the next one and hit profile, the next button along, it actually gives you this profile panel. And as you can see, I'll just move it along so you can really see, and I'll just increase the geometry so it looks quite high resolution, like so. I'm going to actually put perspective on just to make it look a little bit better at one end, like so. and then go back to that profile window. Now, as you can see, you've got 4 points on a profile. This is on B-spline, and you can try the other ones if you like. So on here, you can move each individual point all the way up and all the way down. So you could get a triangle. You could snap them together and literally get a triangle exactly like that. So you can bring them back. You could undo them like so. That brings you back to where you were. You could tap them and get a curve. So this is where you start getting really nice shapes. You can see there, that's almost like a channel. You could do a complete circle all the way around, which is no different than just doing a circular pipe, as you can see. But then you could just make one like that. So you can go internal like this. So this is how you get channeling. And the more work you do with this, the better it's going to be. So for example, if I just go back to square on all of them, like so, and if you notice, it's snapping. So I'm going back to square here for the moment. And then if I put 2 more points in there, and move them down, and put another point here and snap it, like so, I've made myself a channel. So if I then go and delete that one, that would give us a channel. So you can start making very, very mechanical parts like so. So you could make that as, you know, as tight and as thin as you want, and really start getting something that's a little bit special. If you bring it out and pop another one in, but make it bent like that, you can have a bent channel like so. So this is superb for doing robots and for doing much more mechanical parts. So you can really go to town with this and get some crazy shapes. So it's all about you understanding what you can do inside this control panel here, and that, you know, learning that, taking your time and learning it, is when you'll get the powerful aspects of the tube tool under your belt. So have a go at them, play along with all these different settings. There's a lot more than I've shown you there, but for example, it's got UV mapping. So what's great is it gives you the UV maps as well now. So there's so much you can play with here to get, you know, to get your really cool organic and mechanical parts. So if you haven't done already, take your time, have a look at that. And one thing you could also try is putting it into a group up here. So you could add, for example, an array or a curve or a radial with this in it. So have a play with that yourself and see what you can come up with. But take your time and learn this amazing tube tool. I hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you are, please give it a thumbs up. It does help us to get in front of other people who like this kind of content, and if you like us enough for that thumbs up, then why not subscribe to the channel? Thank you so much, and have a great week, everyone.